Hello and welcome back to The Road to Doomsday, the MCU Rewatch podcast brought to you by the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary for the last 5 years. I am your host, Jared Bachman Stubbs, and we are here with episode 2, still making our way through phase 1. It's crazy to think with how, I don't want to say bloated in a pejorative way. I don't want to make it sound like a knock on the MCU for having so much to get through. But it feels insane that with our next episode, we are halfway through phase 1. It feels insane to say that, especially while staring down the barrel of how long phases 4 and 5 are going to be. That at phase 1 being that we're 2/3 of the way through it as of now. But I am not alone. I'm not quite sure what she's doing backstage, but I am joined by the co-host of The Road to Doomsday, one Miss Taylor.
Hi, I'm Miss Taylor. I'm playing with Fat Kiki, who thinks it's incredibly entertaining that I am at eye level with her for some reason right now. She says, fuck you and fuck whatever you're doing. I'm more important. And she keeps going, mah, at me.
Well, throughout the episode, we might hear Fat Kitty's thoughts on the Incredible Hulk.
As she is an Incredible Hulk.
She can relate. She can relate to the trials.
Can I get the visitors to? Can I get the crew at home? Are you guys ready? You're never ready. Kiki, girly. This is my Incredible Hulk.
Indeed. I think that is our first ever Fat Kitty cameo on the Nerd Academy podcast.
I think this is the first ever Fat Kitty cameo in real life. Let's be serious.
I know.
She is an enigma.
Indeed. But before we jump into the meat and potatoes of the Incredible Hulk, a quick word from our sponsors at Sunday's Bloody Mary. You guys know the drill. Sunday's Bloody Mary has the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the multiverse with their 3-time award-winning spicy mix, as well as their mild and traditional mixes if the spice isn't for you. This former bartender swears by only one Bloody Mary mix, and that is Sundays. So if you want to shake up your Bloody Mary game for the rest of your days, go to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. Use the code TEENAP at checkout to get 10% off your order and help out your favorite nerds. While you do it, I am standing up for one moment to turn the fan on before I start profusely sweating and making it an unpleasant recording for everybody, viewers included. But now that the fan is on, and hopefully none of you can hear it, StreamYard does a good job of isolating that out, especially because it's blowing directly at my face and the microphone. We are here to talk about Incredible Hulk. So, Taylor, before we jump in, I'll kind of do what I did before. When did you see the movie? How are you feeling about it back in the day? What's your kind of relationship with this one? Because I have a lot to say about this movie.
When did I see it last? Can't remember. Can't tell you. Wouldn't be able to.
Do you remember seeing it in theaters?
No, I don't remember that. God. Maybe. Gun to my head, I would not be able to tell you the year I saw this movie, but I have seen this movie before. I definitely know I watched it at home. But I never really was a huge Hulk fan. Hold on. Excuse me.
I say on the audio commentaries, the cough button is much more seamless as they cannot see us.
They cannot see us, and I do cough a lot. I'm a cougher. Sorry, I'm an asthmatic representation. I don't recall. I don't recall when I saw it. I don't recall my feelings seeing it. I knew Liv Tyler was in this movie.
Yeah, Liv Tyler, Betty Ross.
Beyond that, I was like, I wonder what Mark Ruffalo would have been like in this movie.
Well, we'll actually get into some of that here in a minute. I will say for me, I remember seeing this in the theater. This is back when my Nana still lived in Irwin. I know this movie theater doesn't exist anymore because it is now a gym. But there was this tiny little movie theater in the plaza near her house that we would go to. Again, tiny
I thought
theater.
It was a Busy Beaver.
It's by the Busy Beaver, yeah, and it was
opening up old wounds, viewers.
I get angry every time I see a Busy Beaver take over for a movie theater.
Mad when he sees a Busy Beaver.
But Listen, a busy beaver took over the AMC that I saw Attack of the Clones with my dad at as a kid, and that still
He's never recovered.
pisses me off. But I remember seeing it at the tiny little theater. I remember having a great time. I remember I liked the Hulk as a kid. If I remember by the time this is out to seek it out and ask for family photos, I might try to edit it in. But I remember as a kid, it was for the Eric Bana Ang Lee Hulk movie that I did like
a movie I've never seen, famously from audio commentary video watchers.
Yes. Yeah,
famously, Jarod kept talking about it, and I was just silent until like about 40 minutes into the movie when Jarod was like, "Hey, have you ever seen this movie?" And I was like, "Nope."
But again, another thing we'll talk about. But it was around the time that movie came out. So like, everybody who came got like, like the colored hairspray, hair was turned green. There were like Hulk posters all over the place. Any of the soda that was served came out of a little test tube. There was green food coloring and everything to make it look like some type of gamma radiated whatever. So I was a Hulk kid. I had a brief Hulk phase before I became a Spider-Man guy, and that has been a life sentence ever since. But I was a Hulk kid for a while. So when this movie was coming out, I was very excited to see it. This is around the time, as I alluded to before, of me starting to play Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 very religiously. Hulk was one of the few characters you didn't just unlock by playing the game. Him, the Phoenix, and Thor were all characters that you had to find these very specific. I had to find like 5 of this very specific collectible to unlock, like I said, Hulk, Jean, and Thor. And I remember going crazy trying to find the Hulk ones because I was like, oh, I got to have Hulk here. I wasn't as like Thor pilled, but I needed Hulk. And like I said, it took me a while to get into the X-Men. But Hulk was the one I was very crazy about unlocking. So this is around that time. As I alluded to before, I was not allowed to see Iron Man for some time because my parents were convinced that the mildly steamy makeout scene was a far more explicit moment than they had been led to believe. So this was my first movie in the MCU. Like, to me, the MCU starts in Incredible Hulk. And I, rewatching it as an adult, something I haven't gotten a chance to do in a very long time. I was seeing a lot of the Stark tech all over the place. The written cameo of Nick Fury I never noticed before. I remember in the very weird, very 2000s venture through cyberspace while the government is trying to hunt down Banner and Ross. That I remember that moment where it cuts to the shield symbol. But before that, I didn't realize how many times shield is brought up by name, how much shield is on writing, how much Stark tech is in the movie. But I did get, the one moment I remembered for shield, and I got excited as a kid. And the cameo from Tony at the very end as well was something I remember as a kid going, oh, he's in that movie I can't see yet. But that's Iron Man. I'm being very excited by that. But a little bit of background before we get into the main part of our discussion. Originally developed to be a follow-up to Ang Lee's Hulk, the film still maintains certain elements from its original version, such as Bruce Banner being in hiding in South America and already having become the Hulk and being hunted down by Thunderbolt Ross. The film took many points from the famous Incredible Hulk. What's that?
Thunderbolt Ross, amazing portrayal, but, I wonder what Harrison Ford would have been like.
Here.
I wonder what Harrison Ford would have been like.
The film took many points and paid homage.
I gotta milk this joke because I only get to make it like twice.
Yeah,
three times I think total.
Roundabout, except for the fact that like 3 of them got burnt in the first 2 movies.
That's what I mean. Like, I think I only get to make this joke 3 times, and it's both of the first movies.
Yeah, Rhodey, Ross, Banner, and I think we're pretty much done now.
Yeah, I think everybody else is pretty through line here.
But the movie pays homage and takes many points from the Incredible Hulk TV show from the 70s, I believe, including how Banner's experiment that creates the Hulk is framed. The movie does the whole gamma bomb thing where he's like right in front of the blast radius of a gamma weapon going off. Here, it pays homage to the show where he's kind of in that almost like optician's dentist chair with like the green scan and like the green crosshair that goes over his eye.
That he continuously winks at Betsy for.
Yes, and that device, that framing is ripped directly from the show. It is a like shot for shot recreation there. They also have a number of cameos and music cues that are taken from the show as well. More on that to come. The estimated budget for the Incredible Hulk reports vary. It puts it anywhere between 137 million to 150 million. And the movie only grossed 265 million worldwide, marking it as an underperformance because the standard is to make 2.5 times the budget. Which I think is funny. Again, one of the things I look forward to doing with this show is kind of correcting the record on a lot of MCU, be it hyper nostalgia, be it rose tinted glasses, whatever, misinformation, whatever you want to call it, where there's this idea that it was only recently that Marvel was having movies underperform, that Marvel had ballooning budgets that were an absolute problem, and that things were kind of happening by the seat of their pants. And that the Infinity Saga had none of these issues. Everything was a straightforward line to the finish line. And that's patently false. That's patently false. Yeah. And we'll be talking about the kind of stinger we have with Tony Stark a little bit later, talking about how that scene makes no sense in the context of the rest of these movies.
It actually makes no sense in the context of this movie. I was like, okay.
But yeah, and I mean, getting into the recasting of Edward Norton, I think a lot of because that post-credit scene feels so. I keep saying post-credit. It happens at the very end of the movie. It is not after any credits have rolled. But between Edward Norton being recast, how kind of tangentially and kind of out of the continuity of the movie, or out of the greater MCU, the scene is, a lot of people kind of skip Incredible Hulk. A lot of people are told to skip Incredible Hulk, and I resent that. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But
yeah, why would you ever skip this movie? It has Arwen in it. God damn, what a mistake.
But one last background point. Edward Norton proved to be a difficult talent on set, making many demands in terms of scripting and direction, creating a situation where he was pushing to be credited for both tasks. Producers also had conflicts with Norton and the director over the runtime of the movie, and he allegedly said he would not help with marketing the film if he was not satisfied with the complete product.
I wonder what Mark Ruffalo would have been like, because he would have promoted the shit out of it. He would have been
between this and the demand for more money to be in the Avengers. That led to him being recast by Mark Ruffalo to play Bruce Banner in the rest of the MCU.
You mean King? You mean 13 going on 30 King?
Yes. With all of that said, Taylor, are you ready to do a little bit of trivia?
Sure.
Now, I want to say before we start, I don't know how much of this Taylor is going to get right, but while I was doing the preparation and writing the show notes for this, she may or may not have barged into the space I record in, and when she opened the door, immediately looked at my computer, and I said, "Don't look at the screen. I'm writing the trivia." And she said, "Oh," and then practically sprinted over here to cheat. So if any of these things Taylor gets right, treat it like a Barry. Treat it like a Barry Bonds home run. She may get it right, but put an asterisk next to it.
That is a bunch of bullshit. Okay, I saw one thing and one thing only, and if I get it right, I win.
Okay.
I saw one thing and one thing only. If I get anything else right, I win. That's a 2 for 1. A BOGO, if you will.
Well, I got 3 questions this time.
Well, great. If I get 2 out of 3, I win. Fuck you. Sure. Especially if it's 2 of the ones I didn't see the answer for.
While Bruce Banner is laying low in Brazil, he's channel surfing and flips past an episode of The
Oh no,
Courting of
I don't
Edie's
know.
father. What relevant actor to the Hulk mythos is featured in this scene?
Probably the guy who played Thunderbolt Ross in the TV shows.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's about it.
So
I got.
I actually don't even remember if Thunderbolt Ross shows up. So you're close. My hint here is to think Lou Ferrigno because you called attention to Lou
Lou
Ferrigno's
Ferrigno is
cameo.
in the movie.
Lou Ferrigno is in the movie. He plays a security guard.
I know he gets a pizza and everything.
The actor in The Courting of Edie's father is one Bill Bixby, who plays David Banner in the Hulk TV show. Now, a funny little side piece of trivia.
The only Bixby I know is Tank, and I.
You're letting me down. Fantasy talk, baby. But no, so Bill Bixby, he plays the lead in the Hulk show. Now, notice I said David Banner. David is Bruce Banner's middle name, I believe, after his father. A funny little note is that whenever they were developing,
I get it now.
Whenever they were developing the Incredible Hulk TV series, the executives at CBS, I could not tell you why, thought that the first name Bruce made him sound gay. So they opted to use his middle name.
Oh, it is.
I don't remember. I want to say it was in the 70s. Let me double check. Hulk TV show.
Where are we in the AIDS epidemic?
From 1977 and 1982. So this was a choice made in 1975 or 76 when they said Bruce is too gay a name. He will forever be known as David Banner.
I think Bruce is a fine name.
I think it's a fine name. So keeping it moving along here. Stanley Lieber, the pizza shop owner who helps Bruce, is clearly named after Stan Lee.
Which I pointed out immediately for audio.
Yes, you did.
Video.
Well, because it's Stanley's Pizza, and I was like, oh, that's fine. I didn't realize his last name was Lieber, the same way Stan's actual last name was. Stanley Lieber, the pizza shop owner who helps Bruce, is named after Stan Lee. But what other Marvel project did the actor appear in? You're going to notice a theme with these questions, but this one's kind of out of left field compared to the others.
Is it the new Doctor Strange where he says Spider-Man? No, it's not him.
No, there's actually two very funny Spider-Man connections here. I almost wrote a trivia question about it, but I didn't. So this gentleman voiced, I forgot to write his name down. He voiced Bruce Banner / the Hulk in the 1966 animated series and crossed over into the old Spider-Man cartoon, also still playing Bruce Banner. The MCU Spider-Man connection is that whenever Bruce is at the computer and there's that other nerd who's holding up the slice of pizza at the school, that is Peter's teacher in the Spider-Man Home trilogy. Like the main teacher. It's the same actor, and they retroactively made it so that at some point it says something graduated from Culver University.
Aww. Well, that's sweet. Wouldn't know, but that's sweet.
But our last question, the one that I think Taylor cheated on. The iconic The Lonely Man theme from the Incredible Hulk television series is reinterpolated in the film.
Mm-hmm.
What scene does this happen in?
God, I don't know.
And I want you to know, I rewrote this question because I know you saw the name of the fucking song, you fucker.
I don't know. I'm going to say the cave scene with Betsy.
That is a good guess. So, for everybody at home, and this might get flagged on a copyright thing. I don't care because I love this song so much. It's iconic.
Oh, no. Copyright.
So, the Lonely Man theme sounds like this. Oh, which helps if I turn the sound on. Very famous piano melody there, right? So,
Sorry, I was right. I was lighting my lighter.
so in the scene, let me. On the official movie soundtrack, it is titled Bruce Goes Home. I am stuck with an ad and I'm getting yelled at by a man who sounds like DJ Academics, and it jump scared me. It is in the scene after Bruce is taken into town by the guy in Guatemala, I believe is where he ends up after he hulks out in Brazil.
Yes, yes. Where he then inexplicably ends up in Mexico for like with no explanation except for 17 days have passed. And I'm like, all right.
So it's in that scene where he is begging on the street.
It is. And he's very Jesus like. Edward Norton. Go off for that white
Hold
man
on.
Jesus.
You're talking over it. Listen.
Sorry, he needs
No,
he
I'm
needs to
just
go
excited
off
for
for the
these.
white man Jesus role. Whenever that comes up, inevitably he's gonna kick ass for it. Okay.
He has to get past Willem Dafoe.
No, he doesn't. Not for white man Jesus. Willem Dafoe should not play Jesus. He should
He
play
already
the
has.
devil.
But do you hear it? That's like that same piano
Yeah,
melody gets
perfect.
reinterpolated
Yeah.
here. But yeah, like I said, that I remember that everybody going, "Oh my god!" Yeah, which you have to be careful because if you do that even a little bit in the major key, it turns into Jurassic Park.
That's exactly where I was going with it. Honestly, I should do a quick change.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, that I remember the in my notes the answer is just written out as homeless banner. But yeah, like I said, I just got
He is homeless for all of it.
and again, those of you who listen to the audio commentary, you will know I go listen to that music, because that is the kind of
I don't
iconic
get
piano
whenever
melody.
Jarod is like, pay attention to this. I'm like, okay.
Because I'm trying to help you out with the trivia. I'm
Yeah,
throwing
but
you
I
a
don't
bone.
want to get help.
Fair.
Hold on,
But
everybody's fighting out here.
But jumping into kind of the meat and potatoes here, I said
You
going
love
into
meat
this
and
one,
potatoes, by the way, Jarod. You really love them.
I do. Going into this episode, I had said that I was hoping that I would revisit this movie and go, I love it as much as I loved it as a kid. And that I was as excited for this movie to kind of revisit it. And I can say I like this movie just as much as I did when I was a kid. You know, and that is kind of a double-edged sword here, because we're rewatching Iron Man, you know, as an adult, sitting down to watch that movie beginning to end, uninterrupted by commercials or other whatevers, was really fun to revisit because there's so much that retroactively becomes very important about Tony as a character. And there are so many themes that dominate his arc across the MCU. And I think that, unfortunately for the Incredible Hulk, I think partially because they wanted to put a little bit of an arm's length between this movie and Ruffalo's iteration, that eventually gets resolved. You know, comes She-Hulk and Shang-Chi, where Eli Roth is back as Tim Roth is back as Eli Roth as the director, where Tim Roth is back as Emil Blonsky. That like they were like, yeah, but kind of, they allude, like Avengers alludes to the alternate opening of this movie, where in Avengers, Bruce famously has that line where he's like, yeah, I went into the Arctic, I put a bullet in my mouth, and the other guy spit it out. Doing research for the trivia, apparently you can briefly see Captain America's frozen body in the alternate opening as well, which is a bit much, but sure. So I think that there's a lot of ideas here that don't get super expanded upon because of the Hulk of it all. Because, and I should have put this in the background section, whenever the rights to all of these Marvel heroes got kind of scattered to the wind, by a very complicated series of events, Columbia Pictures and Sony end up with Spider-Man. Fox has the X-Men and Daredevil and the Fantastic Four. Everybody's kind of scattered all over the place. Hulk was with Universal. And when Marvel Studios was, for all intents and purposes, an indie studio looking for distribution, it was a lot easier to make a solo Hulk movie. But by the time Marvel Studios is acquired by the Walt Disney Corporation, we end up in a situation where Universal and Disney are kind of at odds with each other. So the rights basically dictate that Hulk can only appear in other characters' movies. You cannot do a Hulk movie. So a lot of Banner's character development that happens throughout this movie, a lot of themes that are set up, a lot of like tonal consistency becomes really hard to manage because Bruce can only ever be a supporting character in other people's stories from this point on. And I found myself really enjoying these themes of duality. You know, I think that one of my favorite little character beats for Bruce in this movie is when Betty is asking Bruce, you know, what do you remember? And Bruce is talking about, you know, I get flashes, I get chunks, you know, it feels like an acid trip. I can't remember that much, but like once that thing takes over, it's that thing. And Betty's like, well, I think there is a part of you in there because you protected me when we were in the cave.
Yeah.
Like I could see you in there. And Bruce gets very defensive about that.
It's not me. It's not.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
me. He
not me.
very forcefully, it is not me. And it's a great moment for Bruce Banner. It is wonderfully acted by Ed Norton. Say what you will about him being a difficult talent. He's still one of the best actors around. And in my opinion. And I think that idea of Banner and Hulk accepting each other is something that isn't super iterated upon until Endgame. Like we have 20 plus projects between this movie we're talking about now, this movie we watched the other day, and Endgame, where Bruce Banner has, or Infinity Wars, where the conflict between the two identities really arises. But in Endgame, when it's like, oh no, like we made amends, we figured each other out, and we have an agreement that like I will manifest physically as you, but I want to be in control. And I think that I love this as much as I did as a kid because it's a great movie. As an adult, I can appreciate the themes and the ideas a lot more. But unfortunately, a lot of those themes and those ideas that we know will be expanded upon for Tony and Steve and Thor and Clint and Nat, etc., 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 are kind of dropped altogether for the most part for Bruce. You know, we get little nuggets here and there, but like Bruce isn't getting his own movie of phase the way Steve, Tony, and Thor are.
Naturally, but also it's because they don't have I don't feel like they don't have that growing room. They don't have the ability to if they were to have done an Incredible Hulk movie immediately following Avengers, I feel like you run into the issue of like licensing this, that, you know.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the rights thing is why we never get it. Yeah.
And I think that is hand in hand with the problem that we feel like we are never going to get enough because we won't.
No, and I wish we did because Banner really is a compelling character, and it's one of those, you know, one of the many hurdles Marvel Studios had to deal with. You know, it's just that, you know, we got to play with what we have.
Yeah.
Again, in 2008, 9, 10, 11, and 12, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, these were not household name characters who were getting trick-or-treated as by kids the way Batman and Superman and Spider-Man or hell, even Wolverine.
Hulk, maybe. Yeah, I would say Hulk.
But that's it. But Hulk being the one. Hulk being the one who has this iconic TV show, who had a movie not that long ago, who does have a place already in the pop cultural
Hulk
zeitgeist.
has always had that place.
But that's what I'm saying. Is it like for his movie to underperform? You know, so you have his solo movie underperforms, and we had to recast, and we can't do our own movie. It feels like, unfortunately, Banner gets a lot of scraps in terms of his place in the greater narrative. He has incredible moments. He has wonderful character beats. I remember in 2012, everybody I knew was talking about how once he hulked out during the final battle, Hulk is stealing the show for all of like the last act of Avengers. But none of the whole lot of the character stuff, a lot of what we get.
Okay.
A lot of what we get for Hulk smash, smile. I'm always angry. Punches the Leviathan. Boom, 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 boom. Puny God. Like he punching
Don't
Thor.
talk about my man like that.
But those are all iconic. Some of the most iconic moments from the final battle of Avengers.
Of course they are. I think
Hulk action beats.
Again, I think the issue comes from the fact that I think Hulk is a very interesting character. I think Mark Ruffalo is a standout in a gallery of actors, and I think that is the biggest pull. I think Mark Ruffalo brings, and again, this is, yes, a joke for me, my favorite, perhaps, of the first two movies and The Road to Doomsday. What could this have been if Mark Ruffalo was here? Again, I think him and Liv Tyler would have had chemistry that was insatiable. Viewers at home who have listened to the audio commentary already know what's up, babes. Okay?
They do.
You guys already know what's up. Arwen Evanstar. Arwen Olmame. That's my babe. Right? I think if we are given the God-given opportunity to see Mark Ruffalo and Liv Tyler, I think it's game over for all you hosts. Okay,
it may be, and we know Liv Tyler's down to return because she shows up in Brave New World.
Going to stand up. You should.
But no, and like I said, I do like.
He said Harrison Ford's my dad now.
But and I will say, like, I don't want this to come across as I think there's a lot of weird, Taylor, you don't see this as much on the internet, but like
I don't go on the internet.
I know. But there's a weird, I don't know, stigma attached to Hulk as he is in the MCU now, where a lot of people, in the same way that people do this weird, like, pseudo alpha male bullshit between Henry Cavill and David Cornsweet's Superman, that like,
I've seen that.
Well, people basically do a lot of that with this version of the Hulk versus Hulk circa Endgame and on. And a lot of it is this weird, like, he's not as rough, and, like he's not like his muscles don't have muscles anymore. And
but they do, though. That's my problem.
They
my
do,
problem
and also
is
like
when there's an incredible like inconsistency.
But and again, like Hulk's visual design has certainly changed over time. But what comes with that is Bruce having some amount of character development.
Yeah, I mean,
again, is it as much as I think he could have gotten compared to the other big three Avengers? Maybe not, but there's still that, like, you were seeing the evolution of like Banner taming the savagery within him over time, kind of nickel and dimed out. But I do really resent this idea that like this is the best the Hulk has ever been. It's the action is great. I love this movie, but as a character, I do think Ruffalo brings a lot with how little he gets to do with it.
We wouldn't have the love and fanfare we do today without Mark Ruffalo at this point. Because truly, Edward Norton as the Hulk through all of this, I don't think we would have gotten this far. I think all of the actors would have crucified him on set. Because all the other actors are like, we have to deal with all this bullshit. You have to do it too. Stop bitching.
I mean, oh my God. Can you imagine, again, it's fuck Joss Whedon, but can you imagine Edward Norton having to deal with, like, Joss Whedon and Ed Norton having to deal with each other the way he was behaving on set for this movie?
Would have gone nuclear.
Like, I legitimately don't know what Avengers, like 2012 Avengers, looks like if Ed Norton and Joss Whedon had to have
a fist fight in the parking lot.
Yeah, and it's two artsy fartsy guys who think they can fight. Speaking of guys who think they can fight, I need to say, I think now obviously Phase 1 has Loki 2 times. Phase 1 has Loki twice, so all respect to the god of mischief. So second only to Loki, I think Abomination might be my favorite villain in Phase 1.
So let's not all speak too soon. Smash, problem for me. Audio viewers will know. Sorry, you guys who are listening. Patreon subscribers, you guys
$5 tier audio commentaries. Watch it with us and get
so
early
much
access.
about me.
If you're watching,
It's like you're my
or
close
listening on the main
friend.
feed, you would have had this all at once.
It's like you're my close friends. Okay, you guys know me more than some people in my real life do, because you happen to be watching a movie with me where I'm like smash or pass on every character. But I don't say them all out loud. I only say it out loud if it is a hardcore yes or no. Because I will say someday you guys will hear me say pass, but it is a work in progress. So,
but I mean, again, like looking at the other villains we're going to get in Phase 1, we have Whiplash and Justin Hammer to get to, and I know I love Justin Hammer. I am so excited to see Sam Rockwell, Justin Hammer in our next episode. And then, like I said, Loki 2 times, Red Skull / Hydra shit in Captain America. Like, I know I like a lot of those villains. Man, is this Emil Blonsky such a goddamn freak. I love him. He does so much with he's given a very stock standard, like military guy who's like a little fucking nuts, right? Where he's like, like he says at one point, or Thunderbolt Ross is, he's like, I've looked at your record, like you should be at least a colonel by now. And Blonsky's like, yeah, I'm a fighter. I don't want rank. I want to fight.
He's like, I want to kill these guys.
I like killing, and you start there and you show him this taste of what being would you like to pause for a moment?
Yeah, I have to figure out where Nia just went.
But yeah, no, it's just that like trope of like, like hyper violent military man. He gets a glimpse of the power of the Hulk. He becomes obsessed with it. He wants more and more of it. Like I said in the last episode, the funniest hit in the MCU.
The tree hit, that was wild. I was
yes.
Like, is he dead?
Yeah,
I was like, no, Taylor, he can't be dead.
Taylor was so funny in the audio commentary, y'all. She was like, oh my God, he's dead. He can't be, but he shows up later. But oh my God.
He's dead. He's alive, but he's dead. He's dead, but he's alive.
What makes it so funny is the thunk from the kick from the
Dude,
Hulk.
it's wild. Like it's
the nonchalant
Spider-Man 3 ass
kick.
shit. Okay.
What'd you say?
Spider-Man 3 ass shit.
Yes.
Doink.
And then it is the little bit we get of him tumbling across the field.
Honestly, I felt so bad about
and
that
then
because I literally had
said around the tree.
I was like
a
smash.
table,
and then I was like, "Ooh!" So he got smashed. Cool.
Indeed. Hulk smashed even.
Hey yo.
But yeah, I have so much fun with Blonsky. We'll see if I stand by that opinion. Again, I don't remember being too attached to Whiplash. Justin Hammer is just so goddamn funny. Sam Rockwell's performance. I'm so excited to revisit that.
Sorry everybody for my armpit, but I can't wait for Sam Rockwell.
Yeah. No, that was absolutely great. And yeah, I like the pacing of this a lot. This moved at a great clip. I'm not surprised that there's a lot of stuff that got cut. Like that was one of the things, is that like Universal wanted this movie under 2 hours. It's under 2 hours by 2 minutes. I don't know how much footage didn't make it to the final product. I know that a lot of the Origins stuff where again Banner's in the chair from the show and everything. I know that
where he is getting a LASIK surgery.
Yes, where he's getting gamma LASIK. I know a lot of that was supposed to be like spread out throughout the movie, but they chose to do it as like a big intro sequence. And I think that works better. I like that little bit montage at the top.
You know, I will say the one thing that I wish I had more of for the whole first section of the movie. Not a surprise for audio commentary listeners, but Liv Tyler.
She's great. She's great in this. She's great in
her for the entire first half of the movie. Wish she was there more. Would have got straight into my veins.
And I believe somebody fact check me in the comments. I believe that Ty Burrell is playing Doc Samson, another like important Hulk character who is just a guy here in the same way that Samuel Stern.
Wait, isn't Samson the Omega? You're going to have to look this up. This is some old Avengers shit that I'm thinking of. Sorry, viewers. I read comments in the early... No, not you, Jared. I don't give a fuck about you. I'm not saying
I am right. Right. He is playing Doc Samson. Just not,
I am only Doc familiar Samson. With like old... Early from the 2000s to the early 2010s. That is the shit I know about. So that's my jam.
Yeah, he was a
Quicksilver from X-Men Evolutions. That was my baby.
So real quick from the Marvel Wiki, as I'm fact checking
Can't wait
myself.
for Jared to watch that with me during some segment I force him to make.
Leonard Seversky Jr., born and raised Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was the son of a successful psychiatrist. He was nicknamed Samson by his wife because of his long hair, something that is not in the film. Leonard wanted nothing to do with psychology due to malpractice of his father, but in college he gained a PhD in psychology.
Weird.
Yeah, so he was one of the many people who was a part of the capture and cure or extract.
I'm going to go on such a rabbit hole later.
But yeah, so we got Phil Dunphy as Doc Samson.
Phil Dunphy! Oh my god, my king! Absolutely loved him in this movie. Jared was
you had no recollection that Ty Burrell was in this.
No, I didn't. Again, I love Modern Family. I think everybody is so amazing. I think the show is great. I think it's well written, everything on top of everything. But seeing Ty Burrell, Julie Bowen, seeing them show up and other things is so fun for me. And also with their kids, the girls, they both show up in a lot of things now.
Yeah.
But seeing Ty, I was like, that's my boy, that's my man, that's my husband. Okay. That is my sitcom husband. And watching him be like, fuck you, I'm not going to tell you jack to not Harrison Ford.
It was crazy because he narks on them.
He does, but he doesn't. He does, but he doesn't. He's like, no, I called you because this was the fact, but
I thought you could help. And now I know why she doesn't talk about you.
Happens when you help, and fuck you and go fuck yourself and fuck the army and fuck everybody else. I called you guys because you got I didn't think that Betsy was being entirely truthful when she never talked about you and when she said you were a shitty guy. She right, and I'm gonna double down on everything she said right now by being like, no, not only fuck you, but I never should have called you from the start. Fuck you, get out of here, Thunderbolt.
It's such a great. Ty Burrell has so little screen time, but again, that moment where he rips General Ross apart is so good. Like I said, that I take a professional pride in knowing when somebody's lying, and you are. So, again, he has so little time in the film, and he runs with it. Absolutely runs with it. Which again is very fun seeing him pre-Modern Family as a bit player in The Incredible Hulk.
Which a lot of the actors in Modern Family are
Oh yeah, I mean, except for like Ed
character.
O'Neill, that's kind of everybody's big thing, their first big thing. But yeah, one other thing, because like I said, we don't have a lot to say about this movie. I like it a lot. You know, we don't have much legacy to talk about.
Yeah, I don't. The only thing that I wish I could say more about is on. I think that Mark Ruffalo would have done numbers. I think he would have done gangbusters in this movie.
Um, I do want
Truly,
to
I
talk about
think
the
all
fight.
of my I would say I think all of my comments are reserved for the audio commentary listeners. I think they deserve every thought I've ever had on this movie.
But I do want to talk about two things. One is, again, I have a lot of opinions about Captain America: Brave New World. We did not cover it in a traditional review because I did not want to contribute to any press for the movie, for lack of a better term. We're a smaller outfit, but on business, we did not cover it during its initial release
because we stand on business.
Because we stand on business, free Palestine. We will likely be talking about it in Road to Doomsday.
100% we will, and I'll be talking massive shit.
Yeah.
I did not like it. I'm sorry. I love
We'll get to that one.
Mackie.
We'll get to that one.
I'll
We'll get to that one. I will say it is very exciting to see Tim Blake Nelson as Sam Stearns. He is probably my favorite thing about Brave New World, and he is almost certainly one of my favorite things in this movie. He is so fun to watch. He is so fun to watch as this character.
Absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed every scene he was in. I even felt myself like, and excuse me, in no way rooting for him, but in every way being like, no, I want to see what this little freak's doing.
Yeah,
I don't want to see him win, but I want to know what this freak's up to. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't talk over you.
No, and then by we get into him, manufacturing Bruce's blood, and Bruce being absolutely gobsmacked and freaked out, and like a huge betrayal of his own trust he felt. But at the same time, it's one of those moments where it's like, well, what did you really expect? Like, this guy who is your internet buddy is like, I need more. What did you think was going to happen? Okay, you can't talk to this man who knows so many things and expect him to not be one step ahead. And to watch Samuel, to watch him be like, with Abomination, be like, I am willing, not that I'm not willing to do this.
That's my favorite line from him in the whole movie, when he's trying
to informed consent.
Yeah, I did not say I was unwilling. I just want informed consent. And you've given
I just need informed.
Just that informed consent, and you've given it is so. It's just, again, like, there's a lot of really great small performances in this movie that that are just so fun to watch. And again, like, I wish it's the Hulk rights of it all that hold this movie back in the context of the greater MCU. That, like, I wish we got more of Stearns before Brave New World. I wish we got more of Blonsky before Shang-Chi and She-Hulk.
Even a mini series depicting his
like the one-shots
before. Even his journey before getting the gamma. I don't need a whole thing about his gamma radiation poisoning. Like, I'm happy to know who he is before that, because that gives us much more of an informed picture of who he is after that. I think that we were done a huge disservice by not getting more of Stearns before Brave New World. I think that was a huge misstep by the production. I think that was a huge misstep by the writing department, and I know that it is an unfortunate victim of circumstance, because you're looking at it from we had this reshoot and that reshoot and this rescript and that it is an uphill battle. Like, I'm not blaming anybody in the film by any means. I am not blaming a lot of the production of the film. It is a situation of there is an opportunity for Marvel to be giving us more of these characters that are, in a large way, a legacy character, especially when you're looking at a phase one villain who appears so much later
Yeah.
as the main antagonist, and you know nothing about him. I knew
Especially when
nothing,
She-Hulk was right there. They had free reign to do whatever they wanted with
especially
She-Hulk.
when,
And
and
I know you haven't
again,
seen She-Hulk, and like to tip the hand of that show a little bit, like the main
where
antagonistic
her and
force.
Daredevil fuck.
But yes, and it's awesome. But the main like antagonistic force in She-Hulk is the intelligentsia, the group that the leader leads. And
But we have no depiction of him in it,
he's
and
not
that
in it.
is
He's
a
not in it at all.
huge misstep.
And granted, they do something really fun with the intelligentsia where they're basically the fandom menace, and I loved that.
But we hate it because
This was an opportunity for Stearns. This is a great opportunity.
here are the cards in one hand, but fuck you. We have a new thing.
I like She-Hulk a lot. I was just disappointed we
and
didn't
I'm
see
very excited
Stearns
to
there.
see She-Hulk. I am just a chronic latecomer to everything. But I think there was a huge misstep in not giving us more of Stearns as we continue. But like seeing him here made me be like, oh, I love that. I remember him. I like him. And then being like, oh, but I remember him from a bad place. I remember him being in the bad place.
But moving off of that, I do want to talk before we wrap up. I do want to talk about the final fight. Because I think all the Hulk action in this is great. I will say a mild complaint.
100%. I would actually have to say.
I don't love the Hulk design here. I said it in the audio commentary. He's too yellow. I like the more rich green we get from Banner in future entries.
He's just too muted. His color is too muted.
Yeah, it's like a
muted green. Like
it's
I would have loved
green. It's a
I would have loved
green.
a more vibrant color palette. Now, am I gonna hold it to the mat? No, because I think in a lot of ways it looked very good. I think on the balcony it looked amazing. At the college, I think he looked great. I think during that battle, it really showed a lot of the strengths of that design. Because that was truly, really the only time we got to see him during daylight. And I think that is the critical issue with the design.
We see him in daylight at the college. The fight in Harlem is at nighttime.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that the fight at the college, he looked good because it's daytime, because the sun is high, and we can see the differences between him, between the grass, between the trees, between everything. It's the moment that we get into dusk and nighttime shots is that it is just so washed out that we lose so much of the pigment, we lose so much of the vibrancy, and without that it leads to a very, very dull battle. And I think that's the same issue we have with Abomination in that battle is that he is so tan. He is so beige. And I made this comment in the like newer versions that again I haven't seen, but I know I'm like, ain't he pointier now? Like, doesn't he have more fins? And
he
like,
has the fins. Yeah, we don't do the weird spine thing as much. Yeah,
he's yellower. He's more vibrant. He has pinks and reds to him, and he has none of that here. It is a pasty yellow Caucasian man who has bones protruding in too many places to count. And it just doesn't look, it's not visually fascinating.
And I don't blame the gunner on the helicopter with Ross when Ross is like, shoot it, damn it. And he's like, which one?
Which one?
Ross says the green one. They're both yellow. I don't know what you mean by the green one. They're both yellow.
RIP that specific soldier, because he really did deserve better. If Ross would have given him a better direction, I think we all
shoot the one with pants on. I think would have
been a
better direction.
Yes, shoot the bald one.
Or shoot the one without pants.
Bald one.
Yes, the bald.
Shoot the bald one. If his dome is clear, shoot the shit out of the motherfucker.
I also love the cut it in half. That was a great line.
That he shot directly into an apartment building. Do we want to talk about the like large scale fuck this place that General Ross has?
We
This is New
can,
York
because it's
City.
kind of crazy that the government has more collateral damage in that fight than the Hulk does.
The government has more collateral damage than Abomination. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, are we counting
No.
civilian death in
Yes,
there?
we the fuck are, because he was
Because
tearing up.
Blonsky straight kills people for fun during that fight before Banner shows up.
I know he does. And you know what the US military did? Fire a helicopter machine gun into an occupied apartment building. As a property manager, yes, sorry, we're getting into my real nitty-gritty life. If some motherfucker was like, I'm gonna greenlit a shooting
Minigun
into my building, I would have jumped off the building at the helicopter to take it down, much like Abomination did in the film. Okay, I am taking that helicopter out before it takes my residence out, because that shit way more responsible for deaths than Abomination was up until that point. Okay,
I also
in a 2 to 5 minute period of shooting into that building, we have killed so many civilians. So fuck the US military. And we need S.H.I.E.L.D. up in this bitch, because S.H.I.E.L.D. would have never greenlit that. Okay.
I mean, the Global Security Council does vote to nuke New York City in Avengers, so let's not give them too much credit.
But that was a stupid ass decision. Okay. And we're electing
to ignore.
But
but what I do love about that scene, whenever they're like Hulk, either Hulk or Abomination gets tackled by whichever other one through that apartment building, and there's this huge crater. I think one of my favorite like MCU like extras is the one apartment tenant who sticks his head out and goes, "Oh wow." That's all he says. He goes, "Oh wow," in this super unimpressed way. It's like, big dog, your apartment building looks like a donut right now. What do you mean, oh wow?
It'd be that way sometimes. He said he's a runner. He's a runner in New York City.
Oh,
it'd be that way sometimes.
Wow. But I do love in this fight. Again, I think it's great. I think it's really well choreographed. I love the action. It gets super brutal by the end. And I love getting to watch the Hulk go toe to toe with a monster that can hold its own against it. What I really love is that there's so many beats where, and again, we don't get as much of it in the movie as I would have liked, but we get a handful of moments that kind of harken back to the conversation that Betty and Bruce had in like the midpoint of the movie that I love so much, where she calls attention to like, you know, I was like, you were fighting that, like I could see you in there. No, it wasn't me. But there are moments where like Betty is able to appeal to the Hulk
immediately
because Bruce is in there, and Bruce makes decisions, or the Hulk makes decisions while fighting Abomination that feel like Bruce is guiding it more.
But not only that, I think it's because Bruce is so. The thing that I find like the Hulk and Bruce are one person, no matter how much the like dissociative identity is that we are not. Is that Bruce and the Hulk are the same?
Yeah, the Jekyll and Hyde.
Two sides of the same coin, but like Jekyll and Hyde the same way is that those characters, like the sane one is always like, no, don't hurt them, and the villain is like, I will no matter what. But with the Hulk and with Bruce, it's not. It is entirely different in that the Hulk is everything that Bruce is magnified. So the Hulk is a protector, is a guardian, is somebody who will, no matter what, jump in front of the bullet for their fellow man. And I think that is the most compelling thing about the Hulk. And the thing that I find the most compelling about Bruce is that Bruce does not think he is that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, and every single thing that Bruce does, even in this film, you know, hey Martina, do you want to go get lunch? You know, I see you're being accosted by some man who you're not interested in. Let's come on, like come on, girly pop, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, I may not be interested in you, but like I girls kind of way. Like I recognize that you don't want to be here, so like come on, like let's go. I will take the hit for you. I will be the bad guy so that way you can get out of the situation. But like Bruce does it in every situation that we see him in later, is that you know, that's my secret cap. I'm always angry. But like it's a duty that he as a man feels like as an individual, like these are my people and I will do anything for my people. And that is where the Hulk bolsters him and is like, no problem, bro. Like I got you. And I think that's where in this movie we see so much of like Betsy's influence on the Hulk is that we miss later on because she is not there inherently. But like here in this film, we see so much of Betsy's influence, and like the moment that she steps in, it's over. It's over. Like Hulk sees her in trouble. Well, a Hulk needs to protect her. Her and her dad, even though fuck that dude. Like,
Yeah.
I will do anything for her because that is who I am here for. And you see that again and again and again through the film. And so does everybody else. Like, so do other cast. Like, Ty Burrell is like, no, he protected her. He saved her life. You were willing to kill her, and he saved her life. So, no, I don't know where he is going. And I don't know where she is, but she will help him no matter what. And it is so like a meatball of different, like, you know, not stereotypes, but it's a meatball of different, like, Bruce Banner and the Hulk are the same guy. And it is distressing in a lot of ways when people are like, they are not, because the Hulk is just Bruce Banner's base instincts. He is everything that Bruce needs. So
and I think so much of that gets lost in the MCU again because of the universal of it all, which again is unfortunate because you look back at Bruce Banner's origins. I think it's
also a misunderstanding of a character in a huge way for me personally.
Sure, but I mean, just like because they don't have the real estate in these movies, unfortunately, and it like because of the nature of like how difficult it is to put the Hulk in things that like.
Well, we don't get to explore like the Eric Bana to go with other ways.
Well, like, but what I'm saying is like the Ang Lee movie, right? Yeah. Like that deals.
I don't know, but yeah,
no, you don't know, but like that movie deals so much with like the Hulk persona, kind of being born as a result of Bruce dealing with his abusive father, and that whole idea that like Bruce needed to create something within him that could
dissociative identity, like
him.
It's like very deep, like what characters represent what mental illnesses.
And that goes hand in hand with like Bruce's
we get to do
that, but that goes hand in hand with like the shame that Bruce feels of the Hulk persona. Is it like level? It's like like I'm embarrassed by the fact that this thing is an uncontrollable rage monster and it scares me. That's normal, but like again, like in the comics, so much of it is like on a fundamental level, Bruce knows the Hulk persona exists, yes, because of the gamma, but in part because of this part of my brain I had to create to protect me from my father and the shame that comes with that. And what I love so much about how Banner and the Hulk as a unit do show like a weird amount of restraint during the fight. You know, especially compared to what Abomination was doing, like you were saying, that like Hulk is protecting people from Abomination
in every
and
way,
in
every
every
moment.
way,
Yeah.
and is reined in from like a very gruesome kill.
And in
You
a
know,
lot of
like
ways,
he's like
you see Hulk behave that way through the entire film, which is
Yeah.
crazy. That again, he is like even in the soda factory, the Jarritos factory that I believe they are making pineapple Jarritos at. He and you pointed that out. He leave me alone. Like there is never a moment where he is like, "No, fuck you. I'm coming for you."
I'm letting him out. He's like protecting people who are
And
actively
it's
assailing
Bruce
him.
is like, "I didn't want this. I begged you to not. I begged everybody to not. I begged gang leader to not."
That is the bald guy in Brazil is only named as gang leader in the subtitles.
I begged him to not. I begged you to not. And Emil is like, "No, holy shit." And that's what begins his journey up. But like, there are so many situations where it's like Bruce is not. There has never been a moment in this film where the Hulk, like, where we get to see that like the Hulk is genuinely dangerous. We don't. Like we do, but we don't.
Yeah. We see where the danger is, and like Ross has his moment. He's like, however many cops and army men and a couple
have
bear
to die,
hunters.
at least Betsy will see that he is dangerous. And even then, she still doesn't, because as a grown ass, adult, mature woman, she is like, "You keep shooting him and acting like I'm going to be mad that he's mad that you're shooting him."
Yeah.
And I think that it's very different than the Hulk we see later in the MCU, where you know, sun's getting real low, big guy. Where you have to have a character on the same team who is able to calm him down. When in this film, it was very obvious that the Hulk could recognize, "Hey, you didn't shoot me, but you did." Like,
yeah, I mean, I would say like I think like by the time of like Avengers: Age of Ultron, like part of that is like we literally don't need the Hulk anymore, and part of
let's
that.
also not get started on that movie. That movie I hate.
No. I don't want to. We're not going to get into just like in terms of like the practicality of like having a method to deactivate the Hulk, I think is helpful. And I think it also lends, again, like we don't get as much out of Banner, but I think those are one of those little moments where like he is actively going, I want to be able to shut it off. I see the utility in this creature, but I hate him. Make him go away. I use it.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean,
you know, and I do like that as a dynamic there. But no, I do totally agree with what you're saying. And again, like seeing Hulk, you know, cut loose, go absolute ape shit on Abomination, and like he's like getting ready to just strangle Abomination with the chains and the concrete blocks. And again, he's told stop. He puts it down. Abomination gets one up on him. Again, that brutality kicks in. That crazy bit where he rips the spike out of Abomination's elbow.
That happened before him choking him out.
Happens before. Either way, that shit's bananas.
Oh, don't you worry. I was like, wait, no, yeah, that happens before he starts choking him out. He starts choking him out. He literally knocks him unconscious, choking him out.
That's right, yeah,
and that's when Betsy is like, stop,
because he has to do the Hulk smash to get the chains out of Abomination's hand, and then
correct, yeah, that's after everything. That's after
right.
The thunderclap. Yeah. That's after everything.
I'm such a sucker for the Hulk thunderclap, dude. That is such a crowd pop for me. I just love when the Hulk does a big pow. I love that shit. That shit made me smile so much. I love the thunderclap. I love it. It's just such a stupid comic booky thing, and it makes me so happy. But yeah, kind of closing it out here. Like I said earlier, I do want to talk about the Tony Stark scene. And how it has so little cohesion with the rest of the MCU.
Almost none.
Almost none. Like, because by the time we get to Iron Man 2, we find out we find out that Tony Stark was rejected from the Avengers Initiative.
Because he doesn't play well with others.
And that Fury, like, is kind of the guy heading this up. And by Avengers, the Avengers Initiative has kind of been brushed aside. Like, they're like, yeah, this is never going to work.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's so funny to, like, look back on this. And, like, again, people love to do the phase, like, all the phase 4, like post-credit scenes never went anywhere. And it's Harry Styles in Eternals, and it's Hercules and Thor Love and Thunder. And it's like, well, we're never going to, or Clea in Multiverse of Madness, we're never going to see these fucking people again. And it's like, y'all, movie two, there is a post-credit scene that isn't even post-credit that fundamentally cannot work with the rest of the MCU. Like, and I'm sure you can bend over backwards and say, like, Tony was still on a probation period and Fury pulled the plug after Tony was like, hey, General Ross, help me find the Hulk so I can recruit it. Like, it's so incongruous with the rest of phase 1 and the way that the idea of how the Avengers are brought together is meant to be portrayed. It is kind of hilarious. and again, we hallucinate. I've said it on TNAT more times than I can count. You know, this whole idea of, like, you know, everybody said the MCU is going to fall off under Endgame, and we made it. But pop culture convinced itself that that's the case. That the movies got worse, that the cohesion was not as good, and it's like, this has always been a thing. Thanos looks different every fucking time we see him until Infinity War. Like, the Thanos's possession of the gauntlet and how many stones he has is up for debate until the beginning of Infinity War. You know, I don't know what in the motherfuck Tony Stark is actually trying to accomplish at the end of Incredible Hulk, other than the last movie said the words Avengers Initiative. I don't know. And I'm excited to revisit the things. I'm excited to get caught up. I'm excited to be ready to go into Doomsday, having re-experienced all of these stories as freshly as possible, as fresh as movie 1 can be by the time we get to 57. But, like, holy shit balls. What was going on here? It is so nonsensical. It is so nonsensical compared to the other stuff. It's not a big deal. I got excited for the scene nonetheless. It has such amazingly cheesy dialogue, you know, that, like, oh no, did your glasses just break? They're still cute. But like that whole thing of, like, you know, it seems like you got a problem. Oh, you're one to talk. You know, you always wear such nice suits. Like, the dialogue, horrendous. I love it. Like, this scene is so out of its mind and has nothing to do in a movie. In a movie, this scene is rendered completely obsolete and a non-starter. But I love it. I absolutely love it. And it contributes to why people say to skip this movie, and they're wrong. That's why we didn't skip it, god damn it. But I think that's all I have for Incredible Hulk. Honey, do you have anything else?
No, I don't. I unfortunately just did Incredible Hulk my glasses, so that was very fitting.
Yes, you hulked out of your glasses. Also, real quick, one other thing. I brought up on Nerd Academy, on Bombadcast, anywhere that would have me to let me talk about Superman, when I talked about how straight they played the hypno glasses. And I was like, in an older comic book movie, they would either, somebody would make a joke about the hypno glasses as how silly of a concept is this, or they would over explain it so the audience would take it seriously. But Superman is able to take advantage of the time it came out and just go, yeah, he has hypno glasses that scrambles your brain and you don't think of his face the right way. This movie does exactly what I was talking about with the purple pants. That whole, like, oh, I'm not going to wear your purple little shorts. That would look ridiculous.
It's so cute.
I'll take my chances with a pair of jeans.
It's so cute. Sorry, viewers, have to get so close to they can see.
But,
I'm gonna stop fucking with my glasses once we're done.
but I had that little like, ooh, look at this silly purple pants. You guys know how in the comics the Hulk wears purple pants? Like that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, where they just play it straight. Let him wear purple. In the MCU, the Hulk still barely wears purple, and I hate that shit. She-Hulk has purple in her outfit, and it looks good. And like Professor Hulk in Endgame, his jumpsuit is black and purple, and I'm happy there's purple in the outfit there. And I do love the Professor Hulk outfit. Don't get me wrong, but like let my man's wear purple pants. Let him wear purple pants.
No.
Hashtag purple pants for the Hulk. I will wear purple pants to see Doomsday if they let my boy have purple pants on.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here first. I will wear purple pants. But now I think that's all I have on Incredible Hulk. So without any further ado, and without they're now knowing that we have to fix your glasses once we're done. RIP the glasses. And again, by the time you're seeing this in the main feed, Taylor's glasses will be fixed. They will be fixed. If you subscribe to the Nerd Academy podcast on Patreon at the $5 tier, you get the audio commentary tracks and all of Phase 1 at once. So do that if you haven't yet, and catch the next 3 episodes of The Road to Doomsday whenever you please. But that little micro plug out of the way. Taylor, you don't like to plug your social media, but where can the lovely people find you?
They can find me here at the Nerd Academy podcast, and nowhere else.
And nowhere else.
Unless you want to buy me glasses, and then you can find me at my email.
Don't put that out. I've already had to stop Connor from giving out his full like Discord username. Online. No. I've had to stop Connor from just be like, you do message me directly. No,
this is more like, hey, subscribe to the Nerd Academy podcast.
If you
perhaps I'll have new glasses by then.
Yeah, if you feel so inclined to donate to Taylor's glasses, message the Nerd Academy on Patreon, and maybe we'll work something out. But
more than likely, I'll just have new glasses by the time we all see each other next time.
You guys can find me on Blue Sky and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And as I said, on our website at patreon.com, or you can find our nerdacademypodcast.com, where there's a support the show link that will take you to our Patreon, which is also linked below, where again, $5 tier will get you access to the audio commentaries.
My lovely musings.
Her lovely musings about the movies as we watch them. It will also get you, like I said, early access to every episode. These are all getting banked up. They will be released. All of Phase 1 will be released on Patreon at once, and then once a week moving forward. And again, on YouTube and on our podcast feed with a little bit more of a delay. So if you want to get all of the Road to Doomsday as quickly as you can, to join us on our journey through the MCU, we would be very honored. At the $10 tier, you get all of that, plus a shout out at the end of every episode. Speaking of, thank you to Brennan Marr from Page Turners They Were Not, Paco and Ray Clausen, our $10 alumni who join us over here. But again, thank you all so very much for tuning in. Next week, we will be, or next episode, again, Phase 1 all at once.
Whenever that is.
Whenever you're experiencing the next episode, we will be covering Iron Man 2. We will have our first appearance from an in-house Nerd Academy guest. So the one and only Travis Grossman will be on. And our next guest, Mitch692 from the Mitch692 channel, my host over on Pro and Noob, will be joining us for that as well, also from the Comic Book Cast. So be sure to tune in for Iron Man 2. I'm very excited. Justin Hammer forever. Incredible Hulk fucking rules. And I love this movie. Thank you. Hulk smash.
Stop. Move away from the cookie jar.